Welcome to the 2022 Hot Wheels Legends Tour. I'm Jared Dienda, known as the voice of Drift and also Rallycross, and I've announced so many different motorsports, but I'm so happy to be back here with you again. Not only the first stop, but this is the second stop. We kick things off in New Zealand, but we are on the search and the hunt to find out who will be immortalized as an iconic Hot Wheels diecast, 1/64th diecast. And this is an international affair. So builders and fans from across the globe have submitted their vehicles to come to find out who will win. Now, keep in mind, this all kicked off 5 years ago to celebrate 50 years of Hot Wheels. So this is the 5th year that the Hot Wheels Legends Tour has been going on. So this is our second stop of the 2022 Hot Wheels Legends Tour. And today we are in Australia. That's right. Thank you so much to our judges who are joining us and you, the fans. But thank you so much to our sponsor, including Big W. That's right. Big W. And thank you to our media partner, which is Street Machine. And we have a special guest judge that is representing Street Machine, and we'll introduce you to him as well as the star-studded cast of our judges. If you're tuning in from Australia, you can head to their website, actually, bigw.com. Again, thank you for their support, bigw.com.au, to shop the latest Hot Wheels range, including you could pick up the special Hot Wheels Legends Nissan Skyline GTR, not R34, not R33, but that is an R32. It went live right at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, so get yours now before they sell out. And I know they're going to go very quick. The finalists from this round's Hot Wheels Legends Tour Australia will join the rest of the winners of each round in the finale in November for a chance to be immortalized as that Hot Wheels diecast vehicle. Again, 1/64 scale. We know them. We love them. I mean, look at this is it. This is the trophy right here. Hot Wheels Legends Tour. There's the trophy designed in El Segundo. And again, every stop has a trophy. You can see right there, the Hot Wheels Legends Tour. All right. Well, here's what's coming up. This is the run of the show and what we're going to be seeing here. I'm live from Los Angeles. It's 1 a.m. local time here in Los Angeles. So, you know what? I'm excited. Got some coffee, got some water, and we got some Hot Wheels. And that's where we're going to find out eventually. We kick things off seeing our previous winners. We're going to meet the judges. We're going to talk about the judging criteria, the 3 criteria in particular. The contest submissions, they're contestant submissions, 1 through 3. We'll see the contestant submissions 4 through 6. Then we'll finish it out with our final 3. Then we'll find out from our judges their top 3 picks, 3, 2, 1, and then we'll finally find out who is our Hot Wheels Legends Australia winner. All right, before we meet our judges, I talked about it. Now let's be about it. Let's see who won previous years of the Hot Wheels Legends Tour. Like I said, this kicked off 5 years ago as Hot Wheels was celebrating 50 years of the iconic brand. It's not a toy, it's a lifestyle. Well, our 2018 winner, you can see right there, the 2Jet Z. This car is really cool, open wheel. I mean, this car screams Hot Wheels. You shrink that thing down. Luis Rodriguez, so proud of that 2018 winner, the first ever Legends winner. 2019, the Nash Metropolitan, the 57. You might have never even seen this vehicle. Well, Greg Salzillo and his family made it their own. Then in 2020, boom, Riley Stair. You can see the vehicle in my hand. There's the vehicle on the screen. Riley Stair in that 1970 Pontiac Trans Am. Beautiful vehicle. And keep in mind, look at that. Doesn't even have a hood, but it stands out from the rest of the pack. Then just last year, Lee Johnstone from Somerset, England, celebrated with his family by his side in his 69 Volvo P1800. Can't wait to see that thing shrunk down. And just last week, our first round winner representing New Zealand, this one buggy Mud Muncher Raptor built by Carl Goodall. Now keep in mind, making this thing really Kiwi-as, it has a rotary under, I don't know if it's under the hood or in between the bars, regardless, it is rotary as well. So that really kind of seals in the flavor. Sure, bro. All right, now it's time to meet our judges. And returning not once, not twice, but multiple times, she is back here with us. Again, last week we saw her at Bathurst. She has trophies. She's showing off, and I love it because this woman is very accomplished. Most recently, Extreme E 2021 champion. She's involved in touring TRC. I mean, so many different things. Molly Taylor, thank you so much for joining us. How cool is it, and how big of a role did Hot Wheels play in your life, kind of nurturing you? Because I know your family comes from racing, but how big a role did Hot Wheels play in your life?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really, really excited to get another one of these shows and see the awesome cars we've got coming up. But yeah, certainly Hot Wheels are a massive part. Definitely a lot of toy cars going around our household, and there's actually a lot still in the cupboard today. So yeah, I think that being able to express your passion and what cars you like through those diecasts is something that's really, really cool, and it's cool to see that go on through every generation.
I mean, you got posters on your wall, and whose vehicle is that behind you that's throwing up dirt? Is that you, or is that your family member?
Yeah, that's me in our Subaru WRX rally car.
So sick. Very cool. Again, it's okay. If I had a photo of me announcing, it would be right here as well, but I don't. I'm just here in person.
I only found an 18, so I had to put it on the floor.
Well, speaking of announcing and talking about TCR, we're talking about touring car racing, and this gentleman has, announced the Gold Coast Indy 300 Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne. He's got his own podcast called Rusty's Garage. You can see him. He's got trophies behind. How many of those trophies behind you are yours, Mr. Greg Rust? How many?
Jared, nil. All I can tell you is I'm coming to you from Tickford Racing, one of the biggest supercars teams in Australia. They are prepping for the next round of the championship all the way over in the west in Perth. They very kindly let me into their the front of their workshop here. Thomas Randall, one of the young stars, he drives the car, very, very similar car behind me. They have got championship trophies in that cabinet. They've got, just in the foyer here, Bathurst winning trophies as well. So very cool place to be. Lots of good memorabilia here. And
I'm not stealing your thunder by any means, and I'm joking about the trophies, but you do have some trophies for announcing the Bathurst 1000. So kudos to you at just being a presenter there in Australia and around the globe, man. Your voice is iconic. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. It's an honour to be back doing this. The Logies, I was only a very small part of teams of up about 300 people it takes to do that broadcast at Bathurst. So very special to win those. But as a kid, like Molly, I grew up with Hot Wheels. My mum and dad, just in recent weeks, have pulled a box out of a cupboard in their house. Dad's 80 and Mum's 77 now, and they found my toyhood to the 1980s. So I was doing this, mate.
All right, you're breaking up there a little, Greg. I apologize, but I can hear and obviously read through the lines. It's okay, no big deal. We'll come back to you. But finding your childhood Hot Wheels, that's absolutely awesome. That's really cool. All right, let's move on to a soft-spoken gentleman. The headphones are back. Not Daft Punk, but Daft Junk. I'm joking, not Daft Junk at all. This gentleman he speaks softly but carries a big blower sticking out of his hood. He represents Street Machine. I love this gentleman. I can't wait to give you a big hug in person because I want to give her to Oz. I love Australia. But you could see, obviously, the Lightning McQueen-inspired vehicle, the taxi here behind you. But Scott Taylor, back at it again. Thank you so much for joining us, bud.
Mate, Jared, it is awesome to be back. And yes, there is a lot of me to hug, but that's all right. We can deal with that at a later date. I'm, as always, honoured to be part of representing Street Machine on the Hot Wheels Legends Tour. I've got the latest issue of Street Machine, came out today, so I had to go around and hunt that up. Amazingly, it didn't show up on my desk. And then I've also been down to Big W, buying some new little Hot Wheels here. Got some of their Stars and Stripes range, which look fantastic. So, yeah, I've got a lot of inspiration here on my little desk, and I think we're going to see some awesome cars here today.
I was really taken back, Scott, just last week on kind of your choices. You catch me by surprise. You eventually did go for the car that I would assume, but I think you caught me off guard with the rotary powered, the vehicle that eventually won, and I think that speaks to your soft. You do have a soft spot. It's not just about big blowers and burnouts.
I love all cars, mate, but when half the field has rotary engines, well, you're kind of going to pick a rotary in there somewhere, aren't you? So, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna force feed you those Doritos, as they call it. All right, let's move on. Thank you so much, Scott, for joining us. All right, now rounding out, we have a duo of Hot Wheels designers. Notably, this gentleman's worked at DreamWorks. He's worked at Piaggio. So he has his own website, which is Fisher Envision, and he's joined us after his gluten-free pasta. He's got a smile on his face, and I got to get a chuckle out of him because he's local right here in Southern California. He's staying up late to party with us, Mr. Sonny Fisher. Look at glowing like the sun that he is. Sonny, thank you for joining us, man.
Hey, good to be back, man. And hello everybody. Hello all you car enthusiasts out there. I'm excited to be back in here, and I can't wait to sing praises and insults about all your glorious cars. I don't recommend the gluten-free pasta, by the way. That's just for everybody to know. It wasn't that good.
That's your opinion, just
Yeah,
like your opinion on these vehicles. Some people can't tolerate it, but Sonny, we're going to tolerate you, and I love that about you. And you're a very polarizing figure, and that's what we're doing here. We're scrutinizing because Sonny, you being part of the Hot Wheels design team, this is making your job a little easier, but you know what to expect or what the Hot Wheels team is expecting, correct?
I'd like to think I do, but I don't know. I get proven wrong all the time.
Just like your lunch today. Thank you so much, Sonny Fisher, for joining us here. All right, rounding out our judging panel here is this guy's not a fake man, he's a real man. Joining us here is Philip Reelman, and again, almost 28 years at Mattel, and you look at, not even a day over 28. Did you start like out of the womb? That's the big question here. But you have a 68 Barracuda you're still working on, camping, glamping, and just, again, you spent a lot of time at Hot Wheels, so again, kind of the same sentiments to Sonny. This makes your job a little bit easier when you have these full-size cars and then shrink them down to 1/64th.
Yeah, and when we review these cars, we'll be looking at what these cars are going to be looking like when they're, 1/64 scale sitting on a shelf. So that's one of how I look at these cars when I'm judging them. But I'm looking forward to seeing what we get from Australia.
Yeah, that's the big thing here because sometimes there's cars that, just last week in New Zealand, I'm like, what is that? Did that exist in the States? And a lot of the times, no, because, either Australia, either New Zealand, they kind of came as a different badge or never came over at all. So, some of these vehicles, and I know you kind of thumb through the submissions here, but it is always exciting to be caught on your heels because you never know it all, correct?
No, and so there's always a little extra content that we hadn't seen earlier. So, we don't always get all the information, so it's kind of nice to see all the additional information when we get to the show.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Philip Reelman, again, joining us on behalf of Hot Wheels and the design team. All right, let's move on to our criteria. There's 3 criteria in particular that our 5 judges are kind of analyzing, applying to our 10 submissions. The 3 criteria: authenticity, creativity, and garage spirit. First and foremost, authenticity. This is basically doing something out of the box, like literally out of the blister, and then we're going to shrink it down and put it behind the blister, put it on the card, and it's going to scream Hot Wheels. This is, a different engine with a vehicle. Literally there's Hot Wheels die-casts that exist that are engines in a shopping cart. So so meta, right? You buy the shopping cart Hot Wheel and put it in the shopping cart. Authenticity. That's what we're looking for, right? Blowing people's minds. So I'm going to lean on our Hot Wheels design team here to explain and kind of go further into our other judging criteria. I'm going to kick things off here with Sonny, Mr. Non-gluten creativity here. But Sonny, if you could allow, I'm going to just double down on that. All joking aside, Sonny, could you elaborate a little bit on creativity and what that means in your mind and in your scrutinization?
Yeah, well, we make thousands of cars at Hot Wheels every year. So any candidate for the Legends Garage is going to have to be designed or built in a way that it doesn't even look like anything else in its own category of car culture, let alone in its own town. So, it could be tasteful and beautiful or wild and funny, but as long as it's memorable, it's got to be memorable.
I like that. And that brings up a great point. Memorable. We might see one car right out of the gate, and that first car you might remember all the way till the end. And also, you got to think that every stop's winner will join, all the winners of each round. So it's quite a battle. And you got to think, Sonny. Hot Wheels theoretically is the largest automotive manufacturer in the world, producing over 25,000 unique vehicles.
Yeah. How do you stand out from those?
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Sonny. All right, next I'm going to lean on Philip, and he's going to elaborate on our final judging criteria, garage spirit. Philip, what do you say?
Yeah, so we say it's built, not bought. So we like to see the owners participate in the builds of their cars, get their hands dirty, turn some wrenches, and participate in the creativity in the build of the vehicle, take on that challenger spirit that we like to see in the cars.
I'd also like to add to that sometimes it's the story behind the car. It's either an homage or it's a car that somebody's commandeered through either loss or celebration and building this car to celebrate. So it literally is, I mean, just like one of your peers that we unfortunately lost last year, Ryo Asada, that we created the award about. And even there's a collection of Hot Wheels that are the Ryo collection. So I think it's that. It's not just the car. It's not just either the patina or the rat rod or the carbon fiber or the wheels or the tires, the motor. It's that garage spirit. And that's that. I like to call it the X factor, maybe. Would you agree with that, Philip?
Yeah, especially as you're looking at these cars and you hear the stories behind them, there's a lot of interesting stories of how these cars came about. The car may have been in the family for a couple of generations, or it's a tribute to somebody that started it and couldn't finish it and all that kind of stuff. So it's always interesting, and they're a diverse amount of stories out there on these cars.
Yeah, every vehicle has a story, and if you want to learn about the car, just ask the owner. They'll either chew your ear off or say, "Keep walking, kid. You don't even want to know." Well, thank you so much, Philip Reelman here, breaking down that garage spirit. All right, again, thank you so much to the Big W for supporting Hot Wheels Legends Australia. Of course, it wouldn't be the Hot Wheels Legends without our retail partner. And if you're tuning in from Australia, head to their website, bigw.com.au, to shop the latest Hot Wheels range. And hopefully you can still grab that Hot Wheels Legends Nissan Skyline GTR R32. All right, judges, you ready? Fans, are you ready? Come on, let's hear you. Sonny, calm down. Sonny, relax. Sonny, I know you're getting elated there. Calm down. Oh, okay. Okay, he's raising the roof. He brought that back. I'm old enough to remember raising the roof, so I appreciate that. All right, so moving on to our first car. Let's bring her on up. We got the 1945 International KB5. Oh my gosh. Look at this thing right out of the gate. The truck started its life as a tow truck in a small western north-southwest town. So he says, I have built it as a period correct hot rod version, but with oversized rear wheels that make it look like a Hot Wheels toy. You know what? I just, who do I go to? I'm always baffled by this. The soft-spoken one, Scott Taylor, I got to go to you. Is this a street machine? Is this a Hot Wheel?
It's definitely a Hot Wheels, mate. I love the look of these classic tow trucks. I mean, everything now is tilt and slide, but these hook and lift units, I mean, they got a lot of character. And you know what I really love about this car is that if it's from Dunedoo is a small town very close to where I grew up. In fact, I went to the school, the very next town over, a little place called Coolah. And yes, Western New South Wales. But man, I mean, it is a classic tow truck. I love everything about it. They definitely didn't look like this back in 1945, though. So it's slammed, it's got billet wheels, it's got a big V8, a cross ram with quad SU carbies by the looks of it. So, man, there is nothing not to like about this car.
Well, I love that you're, have a personal kind of special, like you said, Dunedoo, it's got this, but this, as I said earlier, Sonny, I'm going to go to you. Your work's already done. I mean, right out of the gate. And I love the juxtaposition of beautiful deep dish, polished rear wheels, nice looking engine. But if you close the hood and painted them black, I don't think it would pop as much. I mean, Sonny, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to have to get rid of that hood. And then it's fun, That's my favorite part, actually, is the engine. There's especially the intake manifold design is so cool. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and to your point, Sonny, I mean, you take a look at just last year, or sorry, not last year's winner, but our 2020 winner of Riley Stair, and that vehicle didn't have a hood on it. I mean, people soon forget, and you guys did a great job of building that car out. So it's very exciting to see that. I love the tow truck concept. It's got that patina. It screams Australia because with the Dunedoo. I mean, this is. I don't know. I just I'll see you guys later. The job is over. No, all joking aside, we have some great contestants here, but let's just move on. Let's move on because I'm looking at this car. We could look at this car for ages. Let's move on to our next car here. All right. Next up, This is a 1998 Toyota Supra JZA80, midnight purple. They say it's a real quick. 2 GTR R34s in the garage too. Solid flex right there. Full built motor, single turbo. Love the I believe those look like works on the corners. Great looking wheels overall. This is Brittany. I'm assuming that's a female. Brittany underscore. I believe it's Fa72J. Love the chameleon paint. This is kind of an encapsulated vehicle in that era. It's a 1998 Supra. I'm going to go to Mr. Greg Rust. What do you think of this? I mean, this Supra is iconic now, from movies to on streets.
Jared, absolutely. And the thing I love about this car is the consistency. That amazing purple color goes right through to subtle but beautiful details under the hood. This car has a massive following as well on social media. So the only thing I would probably say is that I kind of, without harking back to New Zealand last week and some of the crazy stuff Mad Mike has done, I'm looking for a little something that would pop externally, just to accentuate it, just to contrast it a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah, and you talk about racing and all this. So I'm going to go over to Molly, because I feel like this thing. Is this a race car? Is it a garage queen? Molly, what are your thoughts? Because, I mean, you don't talk about it, like Greg and I do. You be about it. So I'm sure you want to get behind the wheel of it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have a drive of this car. It looks like a lot of fun, and the attention to detail, as Rusty was saying, is just really, really top shelf. So, it's a labor of love, and, kudos, because it's beautiful. But I have to agree with Rusty as well in terms of a Hot Wheels, maybe externally, visually, it's not outrageous enough, but full marks for the build. Yeah.
Philip, what are your sentiments?
Yeah, I have to agree with the other judges. I mean, it's a beautiful build. I didn't see this before. I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see it. They actually drive it. I think the challenge I have with it is we've done super similar to this before, so we already have those in the line. But it is a really nicely built car. Overall, sorry to interject there, but beautiful paint, well executed. Does it have that garage spirit, that X factor? TBD, and it's up to you guys and gal, in order to dictate that. So thank you as we go around the horn there. Let's move on to our next car. Next up, talk about, this is a 4till4. That stands for 356. This Porsche 356 here, beautiful looking vehicle. Saying it's a 1960 Porsche 356, all hand built during COVID. So made them use of the. Oh, I love the yellow tint. That is awesome. The yellow, obviously Lexan there. Fully computerized running system and gauges, hand-built steering wheel, all aluminum interior and floor. Stripes are hand-painted and carried through the headlamps. Handles are machined per specs. All windows are handmade from Lexan. This is just a beautiful, beautiful car. Love the kind of, the contrast to the Lexan, all those little details. I want to see this car in person because it transfers really well on the screen, but I bet in person it shines even more. Who's got the biggest smile? Who's got the Greg, you scratch your chin. That was a good tell. Greg, I got to go back to you, bud.
The reason why I light up a little bit here, Jared, is that I have, doing some garage tours in the lead up to tonight, actually seen this car in the flesh. So the engine in the back of it, Ron told me at that stage that Ron Goodman is the owner's name, that he had entered tonight. So it was my first chance to look at it. It's got a plain engine in the back of it. And the attention to detail, as you can see here inside, is amazing, to the point where he actually has an original altimeter out of a 1951 Mustang plane, beautifully embedded in the dash there. And it's NOS. I mean, it's the work that he has done to this classic Porsche to make it fit all of our judging criteria, I think is pretty impressive.
So I'm going to go to one of the designers. I'm going to go to Philip first there, because the big question here is, it's beautiful. Rusty's seen it in person. But Philip, does this transfer into a Hot Wheels? I feel like this is, and we talked about this last week, and I'm just going to kind of interject. This almost deserves to be part of the Red Line Club, just the attention to detail. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and that's where it would have to go for us to show all the cool detailing that's here. I love this car. I love everything about it. I love the whole theme of it. The airplane motor is awesome. He's got nitrous too. I love that steering wheel, all the detailing there, the interior. It's all the way around. It's a really well built, thought out, detailed car. But we just did like a 356 a couple of years ago. Most of the details would go away on a basic car at our scale.
Yeah, and that's just the unfortunate thing here is that when you shrink it down, it just doesn't transfer really well. And what I really like about this, and Rusty, you brought it up, I failed to mention it here with my notes, but that airplane, I feel like the heart really inspired this, and you can really make it, I'm just going to throw the word out there, corny. You can make it like the execution could be really corny, like it's an airplane. But I think it really does kind of play into the homage of the aero and the kind of the airplane execution. Yeah, I think it looks really great. And man, you're a lucky guy, Rusty, to see this thing in person. Great looking car.
It's an amazing build job, and it sounds crazy. Really cool.
Oh, I bet. Scott, I got to ask you, what do you think of that thing? Is that a street machine?
Mate, I want Street Machine to feature it. I'll just put it out there. I want to get this car in the magazine. The build detail is amazing. I agree with everything the other judges have said in terms of, they're probably going to lose some of that detail in a 164th, but man, there is nothing not to like about that car. I love the fact it's got a 3D printed Inconel exhaust system, so yeah, I love that stuff.
Do you need a bib? You're just drooling over here, Scott. Just relax, dude. Oh, that's what the beard's for. That's what the beard is for. It just catches the saliva. All right, let's move on here. Hey, just to catch you up, you are watching our View from Home Hot Wheels Legends Tour, Australia. This is the second round of many, and thank you so much to Big W, where your custom car can become a Hot Wheels diecast. So, all right, now it's time for our 3 more contestants. We have some very special builds, and so let's go and check them out. Here we go. Submission number 4. And this is a vehicle that I was talking about that, in the States, we're scratching our head. What is it? It seems familiar. Do we have this? I ended on Scott. I'm going to go and kick it off to Molly first, but I'm going to break it down as we're seeing this thing just do the massive skids here. But this 1979 Holden HZ Kingswood. The owner says this car is a 1979, owned the car for 23 years. We built it at home to be an elite burnout car and show winning quality. It's been a competitive car now for 22 years. It's well known in Australia as it's been entered across the country. The car is known as the Kinger. I feel like Scott knows this, knows everything about this. He knows the blood type, the mother's maiden name of the owner, but I got to go to Molly. And, Holden, like I said, it came over to the States as a different manufacturer that never existed as an Australian manufacturer. What's your relationship like with Holden in particular? What do you think of this car?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much more Australian than a Holden Kingswood, so I think that's really cool to have that kind of representation here, and that the build and the color certainly is something that would pop in terms of a Hot Wheels diecast. So I think it's very apt, very, very Aussie. And yeah, for me, I remember towing a rally car in an old Kingswood with the column shift, and it wasn't quite as fancy as this one though. But I think as a Hot Wheels, it would be great.
Yeah, it's cool, and I love it seems to be a reoccurring theme. The juxtaposition: bright pink, black wheels, chrome hoops, but then white interior, and then just a big blower. This is just, throwing all of it out. Sonny, you're glowing, and that's not just your name, but Sonny, what are your thoughts here on this car?
Yeah, it's just as well that motor's so big that you can't keep the hood on it, because that's part of what makes it a Hot Wheels. The fact that it's got the uncovered motor and it's got the bold pink paint job, and the way it's lowered, the stance. I think those 3 things are what gives it the Hot Wheels feel. So that's what I like about this one.
And can we create the smoke effect? Can we duplicate the smoke coming out the back?
Or we could just light the toy on fire. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We could
that I know it's late. I know it's 1 a.m. Relax, Sonny. And I'm sorry. You'll get your rest. I know. Again, the gluten free didn't work out. Can we get Sonny some food? Okay. All right. Let's move on here. As I think that car is dynamic, but I gotta end on Scott. Scott, again, I was joking about and everything about it, but I feel like, go ahead, Scott. Lay it on us.
We do know a lot about this car. Steve Sines is the owner. He's really well known in the Australian burnout scene, and we have featured this car in Street Machine. It's had a couple different looks over the years, but yeah, 1,000 horsepower, small block Chevy up the front. I mean, it's a killer car that's won most of the burnout comps here in Australia. So, yeah, I can guarantee that Hot Wheels has never done a Kingswood as a car, but yeah, I think it would make a great Hot Wheels.
Yeah, absolutely. It's stiff competition, and we're only 4 cars in. We're not even halfway through 10, so absolutely some great submissions. Speaking of submissions, let's move on to our next vehicle. Little more modern here. This is a 2013 GT86 drift car. This is obviously a little closer to what I've been announcing over the years, but it says it's the world's first and only twin supercharged drift car. The entire car is 100% built by himself, the garage at home, and this is Brad. I might butcher the last name. I'll just say Brad T. Brad T. It started as a brand new 86, stripped it down, built it in 19 months, so just shy of 2 years. Everything from fabrication, paint, wiring, supercharger kit, intercooler, wrap, intake. Not one single person has worked on the car. All right, so I have won many comps and won the Australian Drift All-Stars Championship. It is truly one of a kind. So we have seen the 86, all kind of in different iterations. I'm going to go to Rusty. What do you make of this build?
I reckon this will appeal to younger fans, that whole drift feel. I love the fact that it's the world first twin supercharged drift car. I love from our criteria standpoint about garage spirit, how he's done all of that work himself, and I can see it as a small scale, as a Hot Wheels car. The outer look of it pops for a youngster.
Yeah, just overall, the deco is done. I mean, just has all the colors of the rainbow there. Have yet to see under the hood, but I like how we started in the cockpit and it just going sideways and clutch kicking that thing in. Philip, what do you think of this? And obviously, it being kind of more of a late model vehicle, it being a GT86, how does this compare to some of the other vehicles that have been produced with the Hot Wheels name?
This would make a great Hot Wheels. It's got a lot of things going on there. I love the fact that it's got some bold graphics, purpose built. It's tire killer. It looks like it's built, purpose built. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think overall this is a weapon. I mean, this car is built and meant to be driven. Molly, again, just going back to you, the racer that's ready to flog this thing. And there it is. Now we see the under the hood there, twin supercharged. I mean, this thing's got to have a lot of horsepower, Molly.
Yeah, I've actually watched Brad Tui race this or drift this, and it's a fantastic car and looks great when it's going as well. So huge respect for this car. I think, as Rusty said, the look, the proportions. Just looks so good in this chassis, especially then with the extra body kit and the livery as well. So, whether it's unique enough with the other 86s and BRZs, I'm not sure, but I think the livery itself gives it something pretty distinct. So, and the fact that it's a purpose-built car, it's competing regularly. So, I think it's an awesome car. And if he wants to throw me the keys, then that's fine too.
Yeah, and I always say if you can start it, you can drive it. And Molly, I think you have no problem starting a race car, obviously. So really cool here. And I think the function is the fashion when it comes to this car. Just the capabilities of it, the uniqueness of it, and like we kick things off there with the garage spirit. Really, really cool car. Thank you, Brad Tui. All right, moving on to our next submission here. This is car number 6. Now, this is from Peter Basma, I believe it is. Yeah, here we go. We're going off-roading. This is a 1958 Austin Healey. Now, this is a Sprite Drag Custom. Is that word? No. Sorry. This is a 1974 Mini. I apologize. I got ahead of myself. This is Corey Solemn, 1974 Mini. Yeah, look at that. Oh, man. There's a lot of verbiage here, but it's got a 351 Windsor V8 pushing 38 by 15.5-inch tires, sitting on shortened Nissan Patrol chassis. So a bit of an RC car here. It takes it down to Hay on the June long weekend for the Mini Nationals. Film crew for Mad Max 5 will be there. He's actually booked in the same hotel as they were staying. Hope to get the car in the movie. He's been a Hot Wheels collector for a long time. Has had multiple different cars. Even has welded stitches all over it to give it the effect of being put together. Really cool effect right there. So with it even being raw metal, it has kind of a deco look to it. It has a Facebook page, so take a look at it further. It's called Franken Mini. I think this car is really, really cool. Like I said, I kind of got ahead of myself there, just off in the distance, thinking it was Austin Healey. But you get closer to it. I'd love to see somebody standing next to it. I think that's what would make it really kind of pop. Let's go to Sonny there. Sonny, what do you think as a Hot Wheels designer? It doesn't have the deco, but I kind of like the raw formness to it. And I'm wondering what those tanks are to the side of it. I love this thing.
Yeah, I don't think it needs the deco. This is one of the few cars that it's got so much confidence. I don't think you could put any paint scheme on here that would make it stand out any more than it already does. And I think that's probably why he did it. And I think that's so cool. I also think he needs to put a bolt latch and padlock on there as an homage to Mr. Bean.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Yeah, nice. That'd be a great touch. Scott, you talk about street machines, but what about dirt machines? What do you think of this?
Hey, I love a bit of off-road action, but this one's got a Ford V8 in it, so there's a big thumbs up from me. The fact that it's on a customized Nissan Patrol chassis, it certainly makes it unique. I can certainly see it being a Hot Wheels car. It's a mini panel van with 38-inch tall tires, so it's pretty crazy. But this is what happens when you leave blokes in the shed unsupervised for too long.
I love this thing. To me, as Hot Wheels owners or collectors, we might want to preserve them and put them on the shelf and look after them. I can see kids playing with something like this in a Hot Wheels scale. It's just, for me, it's got Hot Wheels written all over it. Really cool.
Yeah, the scale of it being a mini with oversized tires, just the proportions are a little thrown off. That's why I say I'd love to see somebody kind of standing next to it, and I think that would really make it sensational and more cartoonish in regards to the overall build. So very cool car. Again, car number 6, the 74 Mini Custom Clubman. Now, like I said, I got ahead of myself there. Now we're moving on to the Austin Healey. This is a 1958 Austin Healey. Now, this is a Sprite drag custom car. Obviously, the last car was not a drag car. But Peter Basma, this 58 Austin Healey, originally built in the 80s, rebuilt and further customized just last year in 2021. Now, it's got a supercharged 350 Chevy with twin nitrous tanks wrapped in that gloss fierce fuchsia. That was my nickname in college, actually, was the gloss fierce fuchsia. Who do we throw this to? I'm going to kick things off with Philip. Austin Healey drag car, nitrous tanks, the blower. I mean, this thing has appendages hanging off every kind of panel on it. Philip, what do you say?
This car is so cool. I love the Bug-Eye sprites, and seeing it as a drag car is really cool. And at first I was kind of out on the tanks, but I don't think there's any place else you could put them. It's a really cool car.
Yeah, I think this is really neat. It's, just such a mashup of different, countries. I mean, from the American power plant to the Austin Healey to it. I mean, just it being pink kind of, we've seen a reoccurring theme here with pink in Australia. Molly, are you a drag gal? What do you think of this? And, do you have a relationship with the Austin Healey or this vehicle in particular?
My dad's a big Austin Healey fan. I love the creativity with this, as you said, the mashup, and it's unique. I don't know if anyone would have thought to do something like this. So I think that's really cool. Personally, like to my taste, it's not to my personal taste, but as a Hot Wheels, I think it's very creative, very unique, and someone's had a lot of fun designing this one.
Yeah, Mad 269 there. Scotty, I'm gonna go to you. I'm sure you've seen this at the drag strip. It's a very, very cool, unique car. What do you think?
mate, there is a lot going on here, I've got to say. I mean, it's a crazy little English sports car with a big V8 shoved in it. Then he's added a supercharger, then nitrous. There's so much happening. I mean, from what I read of the numbers, it looks like it runs 9. So it's a pretty seriously fast car. Man, I don't know. I think it'll look great as a Hot Wheels, but I'm not sure it'll get my vote. It's just, like I said, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean the pink lights aren't on your headset there, your headphones. So going off of your headphone meter, it wasn't lighting up. That's kind of your gauge right there. All right, well we've seen already just 7 cars, and there are 3 more left. But shout out to our retail partner Big W. Again, thank you to Big W for their support. It wouldn't be Hot Wheels Legends Australia with the support of the Big W. Thank you so much. So head to bigw.com.au for all of your latest Hot Wheels die-casts. And again, maybe you'll see Riley Stairs' vehicle there. I love this vehicle. So again, new for 2022, the winner just a couple years ago in that 70 Pontiac Trans Am. All right, moving right along. Like I said, this is all thriller, no filler, as we are now moving on to, look at this vehicle, sliding on into the DMs, the 85 Holden VK Commodore. Just, a livery that looks familiar from a bygone era, but stickers all over this thing. Look at the angle. I mean, this thing is a drift car. It's purpose built. It's a Brock. It says it's a Brock Big Banger Pro drift car. 840 horsepower. LS turbo, killer Nissan IRS rear end, custom Wisefab steering kit. VK Drift on Facebook. This thing, thrash, bash, and ready to crash into anything. Let's go to Greg. Let's go to you, Rusty. What do you think of this car?
I love the fact that it lends its name to famous or iconic Australian racers. So it's Matthew Grice. There has been a racer that's won Bathurst twice by the name of Alan Grice, and the paint scheme on this car is absolutely unmistakably that of what Peter Brock, the legend of Australian motorsport, ran in the 1980s, what we affectionately call the Big Banger period. So I love how it tips its hat to that big horsepower, and it's transported us back to the 80s.
Sonny, have you ever seen this 85 Holden either in person, you as an enthusiast, and also have we ever seen one as a Hot Wheels diecast?
I don't believe so. Phil can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've had one as a diecast, and I haven't seen this car until I saw, the videos of this, which was fun to watch. Yeah, Phil, what do you think?
I don't think we've had one of this vintage. We've had Holdens before, but I don't think nothing like this. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? Being you guys being the two designers representing Hot Wheels, I kind of like the thrash and bash look of it. If you could have it, we've seen like the Roadkill Hot Wheels diecast shrunken down, and I kind of like it beat up, and it has that kind of zip ties, the bumpers falling off. What do you think that would be kind of a good juxtaposition to something as sterile as like a Riley Stairs vehicle, or even last year's winner, the Volvo? What are your thoughts on that? I guess stay on it, Sonny.
Yeah, there's a video where he's drifting it, and the left headlight's gone, and I think you should leave it that way. I think it's really cool that the headlight was missing. I love the rawness of it. I do think, as iconic as that livery is, that might be a licensing problem. So right. I don't know, scaling it down into a toy, that could be the issue. It's too bad. But yeah, this guy seems like a character. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, he's winking at you, and he says, how we can solve this, Sonny, just like we said it earlier with the tow truck as we kick things off. Take the hood off. Just take the hood off. Just leave it off, and then it'll solve it. So very cool, the 85 Holden VK Commodore. Thank you for all the insight there, Rusty, as well, from just the homage and kind of, getting the DNA of the Australian spirit. And that's what it's really all about, just these vehicles as we kick things off, really screaming for the Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. All right. 2 more cars left to go, and the second to last one is a 71 Holden. Now, this it says a rusty floor led to a home-built chassis. So a new floor plan or a floor pan and roll cage. The owner built the 327 Chevy 5-speed manual, Ford 9-inch differential. Bigs and littles are huge 33-inch by 18.5-inch rear and 26 by 4-inch fronts. Wild orange and contrast stripes, and dumped it on its guts. The attitude harked back to the 1980s Pro Street era. Spartan but purpose-built interior. Exhaust exits from the front guards. You can see right there. It's a really nice touch. Again, the HZ boot lid with louvers for airflow. So this goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier, is about the function is the fashion, but this is kind of, I like how he says that the 80s look. I got to go to Mr. Street Machine himself, again, flying that Street Machine flag. As simple as the graphics are, I feel like this really captures, as he said, that 1980s era, the Pro Street.
Yeah, 100%. It screams 1980s Pro Street era. And so, I love that because that was all the rage when I first got into the whole Street Machine thing as a kid. I'm a massive fan of HQs, and for that reason, this car kind of triggers me because he's taken all the HQ-ness out of it, and he's put HZ boot on it, HZ front, got rid of the front indicators, which gives it a very much a Chevy Monte Carlo styling. Like, it looks very American on the front now, and I love HQs. So I think he's done a great job in the build, but yeah, it does trigger me a bit.
I was going to say, I like all those things that he's done. I think it looks really neat and cool. So maybe that's the age difference, hey, Scotty?
Yeah.
You might share a last name, but you definitely don't share the same opinion. And I like that. Philip, going to you, the 71 Holden Q's and Z's. I say Z, they say Z. Philip, what letter do you say? A Q, a Z, carry the one. We're doing math now.
I have no idea. This is a pretty cool car. I mean, it would definitely make a cool Hot Wheels. It is purposely dated a little bit. Has it been enough time for Pro Street to kind of come back? I don't know, but it's I like the it's just the stance of it and everything. It's well built.
Yeah, it's clean, it's sterile, but I like the subtle graphics. The deco, rightfully so. If it was a different color, if it was like pink like we saw earlier, I don't know. I really like it. I like gray and white and the starkness of it. That's why I really liked Riley Stayer's vehicle overall. And I think, you look at, my son's 15 years old. He's wearing the clothes that I wore when I was a kid. So I think it is time. I'm telling you right now, the 80s is popping. Our man Jorge over here is wearing pants that I wore when I was in high school. These things are big and baggy. So I think fashion-wise, maybe beat everybody to the punch and get this car done, right? What do you think, Rusty, the Pro Steer? Who's chiming in there?
I'm an 80s tragic, so this is absolutely a bit of me. I love the fact that the exhausts exit the front guards, but the thing that stood out to me just watching the video again then, Jared, he's kept the original Kingswood wheel for all of the beautiful work that's gone on with this car, the little subtle throwback to the original Kingswood that Aussies would have had plenty of, and Holden's gone now, so cool story.
You're talking about the steering wheel, not the actual wheels on the corners, but the steering wheel. Yeah, that's funny. That's great. That's great that you brought that up. That is a great point. Did anybody else chime in there? I'm sorry to cut you guys off. We're kind of bouncing around there. All right. No. All right. Well, guess what? Just like that, we are to our final vehicle, 10 cars, and here's the final one. And here it is. It's a 1948 Fiat toppling delivery van. Wow, what a cool car. Right out from the floating grill, you could see the turbos, the manifolds. There is a ton of verbiage here that it's Mick M here, double M. Look at what's going on with the MSD on the front wheels. What? So one of a kind. This is the Ratsack Fiat toppling deliver van. Everything was built by my dad, he says, during his chemo treatment for cancer. And there it is. Love this. This is the garage spirit we were talking about. He did it all himself. The amounts of detail in this rat rod is insane. Can do more photos, but videos, etc. to explain. I will also enter his blown injected V8 mobility scooter. Is a V8 mobility scooter. The Toppy got that name Ratsack as my dad was on blood thinners while building. Looking forward to what you guys think. The car was inspired by the engine itself. Some features are the twin-turbo V8. The dash is revolved around cylinder heads using pistons to hold the gauges. Valves are used as switches for blinkers, boost, etc. Camshafts on the window has been modified as it's the demister. Socket set as at top has lights and side sockets for shifter lights. Steering wheel is 3 conrods. Gear shifter is actually a shifter. Internal door handles are sockets. Mirrors are oil filters. This thing is just all flipped around. The rear exhaust is cut out. Have dizzy caps in the wheels. I mean, there's so much more, he says, which he's happy to go on in more detail. Very proud of this car. But unfortunately, they did lose their dad to cancer. But have kept his car as its inspiration for all of us that can never be replaced. So thank you so much for this great submit. Hey, round of applause for just this entry here from our judges, please. And like the spirit says here of Mick and his father and the rat sack, really cool. Unique car. I mean, look at the cylinder head there. I got to go to designer. Who wants to go first? Either Philip or Sonny. Raise your hand. Who wants to go first on this vehicle? Either Philip or Sonny. Philip, go ahead.
Yeah, this is. He's got so much creative and cool detailing on this car. I love the fact that it's a Fiat. I've done a Fiat Topolino way early in my career in the line of blown drag car, kind of traditional, but. I love the oil filter, rear view mirrors, all those engine parts through the dash, and I have to say this is the first time I've seen ignition parts on wheels, but I'm not quite sure what that's about. But hey, but the look at the valves on the dashboard and the pistons as the gauges and connecting rods and the steering wheel. I mean, it's just the details are awesome. It will be a little bit hard to translate that down to 1/64th, but because I think we'll lose a lot of that. But super cool car.
Yeah, and the details, just machining all those. You see the piston heads there machined out to show the digital gauges and the camshafts there as a license plate for it. I mean, you could just look around this car and it's kind of like, where's Waldo? What's next? Oh, I found it over here. Should that be under the hood or in the engine? I think that's what's really cool here. Molly, what do you say? As this is our last car, and the story is so endearing, and I appreciate them sharing that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I just can't stop looking at it, and I want to discover more little details that they've found. And as you say, the garage spirit is there 110%. And I mean, I think, for me, I love the detail. I think it's amazing, and the creativity, and who would think to try and make those pistons. And I think he's got juice written there instead of fuel, and just some really cool stuff. So I mean, for me, I'm not a designer, but I have faith in you guys to be able to capture all of that. So if we can do that, it's going to be something pretty special.
Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in? As again, you might feel compelled, Rusty.
Jared, I just think if we've got to go back to our judging criteria, it ticks so many of them, doesn't it? I mean, from garage spirit to the story of the car itself. I know it might be hard to translate some of that stuff when it's 1/64, but I mean, even to Molly's point, the door handles are sockets. I mean, the work that's gone into this thing is unreal.
Yeah. The tires are center console. That's hilarious, and that's something that would still translate in small scale.
We can see kids with it. It screams Addams Family or something, doesn't it? It's awesome.
Yeah, and on a serious note, the forced induction arrangement is actually really, really cool. Everything else it's extremely well built and hilarious. There's humor all over it. But yeah, even the design of the forced induction, I was quite impressed with it.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Again, thank you for sharing that story, and thank you for sharing that car with the world and really representing Ratsack. Obviously, as it says, kills Fords and Chevys. That's awesome. Love that center console. Well, there we have seen it, and just to catch you up, you are watching Hot Wheels Legends, our second stop here in Australia. I'm Jared Deenda, and our panel of judges here have seen our 10 vehicles. Now they're going to whittle it down to their top 3. That's right. Only top 3, and only one will be our overall Australia winner. So you guys and gals and people from Australia submitted your vehicles, but there can be only one winner. So if you're watching around the globe, remember, we're going to have stops throughout the year, and finally at the end of the year we will see who is the overall 2022 winner. We saw some awesome cars. Some cars, you're kind of scratching your head and you're wondering what's going on. Some cars I want to see in person just because the build quality overall really just totally encapsulating the Australian spirit. And that's I'm going to kind of end where we started in regards to vehicles that I've never seen in person, or us that are here in the States, or just if you're into drag racing like my man Scotty here, or if, Rusty, obviously into touring cars, or Molly into rally and kind of all things. But I think this we saw a really diverse collection, and not one rotary, Scott, not one rotary.
No, there's plenty of V8s this year. Look, I'm not against rotaries, but as I've said before, but
I know.
man, it was the selection was so diverse that it made the top three choices very hard. So yeah.
All right. Well, again, we're talking about creativity, authenticity, garage spirit. We saw, if the bars here, you saw 2 over here, 7, 9, and carry the 1 and all that, like I said. So I'm going to go through our judges as I introduce them in the order. So I'm going to kick things off with, no, you know what? I'm not. The biggest smile, Molly's got it right here. Molly, you got the biggest smile. I feel like you're chomping at the bit. So I'm going to go off your smile meter, as Colette Davis would say. So give me your 3, 2, 1, and you're going to say what car number it was, so we could pull it up there and kind of recap it. But 3, 2, 1, go for it.
Oh man, this is difficult. And I asked before we went on if I was allowed to do ties, and I was told strictly that wasn't allowed. So it's it's tough, and I like you throwing me first cab off the rank too. But it's breaking my heart to not put the 356 in there, because I love that car. But for all the reasons we spoke about, that's an honourable mention. My number 3, I'm going to go for the International KB5 tow truck. I think that the Aussie connection there is awesome, and it's just something completely different. And I have been rescued by tow trucks many a day, so appreciate them. My number 2 is going to be the 1974 Mini Custom Clubman. We've spoken about that a lot, just how much it pops as a Hot Wheels. It's going to look so cool, and it goes in the dirt, so that is a vote for me. And my number 1 is going to be number 10, the 1948 Fiat toppling delivery van. I mean, we spoke about all those reasons. It's such a special car, such a special build, so much meaning and love behind it, but so much quality and craftsmanship in the build too. So that would be insane as a Hot Wheels, and if we could get all that detail in, you would just be mesmerized by it for days.
Yeah. So Sonny and Philip, get to work. Go ahead. Just get to work now, as Molly is saying right there. Really, really cool. And again, I do agree with you, but no, we cannot have ties. There's no participation trophies. We need to have a winner. So I apologize. Here, Molly, you got tied for first if you go race. Would you be pumped, or would you kind of be bummed?
Oh, yeah, it's a good point. one point to you.
All right. All right. As we're hearing from Rusty, your co-host there with Touring Car Racing, so I'm going to throw it over to him. Rusty, you got all the trophies back there, but who's getting third, second, and first place trophy in your eyes?
Jared, can we firstly say a big thanks to everyone who entered this year. I love being a part of it last year, and I reckon the standard for 2022 is higher, tougher than we've ever seen. Some really good cars and a real diverse range of them. So like Molly, honourable mention to Ron Goodman. That 356 is unreal. I'm going to go third, though. My third place is car number 1, Craig, and that tow truck. I love the rusty, pardon the pun, and patina look. I can visualise it, most importantly, as a Hot Wheels, and the fact that it's just down the road from where Scotty was, from Dunny Doo, is a cool story in itself. My number 2 to Mick and the toppling delivery van, which is car number 10. I just love the story in this car and the fact that it ticks all of the boxes as far as our judging criteria is concerned. Bit of a tip of the hat to kind of the Adams family. Lots of cool things about it. I can see kids definitely playing with it. But I'm going to go different to Molly. My number 1 pick is car number 6, Craig, and that 1974 Mini Clubman. I just think this thing is a total kind of juxtaposition of what we expect with a Mini Clubman. I can see kids playing with this car outside in the dirt, and I can see others going, you know what, that thing is wild, and I'll keep it safely in its Hot Wheels box on my shelf too. Cool thing.
Yeah, and you even said that kind of before seeing all the other vehicles, so I think that kind of speaks to your heart and your childlike mind. So there you are, Peter. You're kind of still young at heart there, Rusty, and I love that. So great podium there for you, Rusty. All right, I'm going to go over to Mr. Street Machine again, representing Street Machine. Thank you so much for joining us once again last year and last week, excuse me, and now here this evening. So I'm throwing it to Scott Taylor. Scott, hit me with it. Send it.
Well, for my number 3 pick, I am going with car number 3. I'm going with a Porsche. I just love this thing, this 356. I just want to see it in person. And I know that a lot of the detail will be lost, if it goes down to 1/64 scale. And you know what? I don't care. I want it to happen. But yeah, I just think it's a fantastic car, and I really love this thing. My number 2 pick is the Fiat Topolino, car number 10. It's just an amazing build, and we've all lost people to cancer. I've lost way too many to cancer, so that was a backstory I could relate to. Look, I know a lot of the detail will be lost as it gets shrunk down, but this car has so much detail that you could lose half of it and it'll still work. I mean, I love those center wheels with the spark plugs. It's even got retard, which is, a timing term, and an arrow direction on the front wheels, stuff like that. The oil can mirrors and the bullet tail lights. It's just, it's a great little build. But
what's funny, real quick, Scott, what's real quick? Yeah. We failed to mention that it has flame paint job. Like look at the red chassis on the front, and it goes into red flame. So I seriously just thought about that because there's so much other things capturing us. But sorry to cut you off.
You totally miss it. No, you're totally right. None of us have mentioned the flame paint job. And the fact that it's got a twin turbo quad cam V8. Is just almost an aside compared to all the other detail. But anyway, I'm getting away from it. All right, number one is the International Tow Truck number 1. Look, there's nothing I don't like about this car. It sits right. It looks right. It would just be an awesome Hot Wheels. Would I put it on the cover of Street Machine? No. But, I think it's just a beautiful car and make a great Hot Wheels. The designers were saying, that maybe they'd have to lose the bonnet. Well, I've got a challenge for them. How about they lift the engine, raise the engine up, put those carbies out the hood? That would look cool.
I feel like if you and Rusty had a baby, this is what you guys would come out with. I mean, it's from Dunny Doo. It's Rusty. It's got this is your love child right here. I think it's
Rusty
awesome.
From Dunny Doo, man. Sounds like a movie.
I was just thinking how that thing with the wood boards on the flatbed, it looks like the offspring of an international tow truck and a pirate ship. Like that aesthetic, it needs to fly a flag as well. Yeah,
the Pirates of Dunny Doo. That's it's the latest iteration of the movie franchise. That's what's going down. All right, Sonny, you spoke up, so guess what? I'm going to go to you. Thank you, Scott, so much. Sonny Fisher, going to you. You're 3, 2, 1. Hit me with it.
Okay, all right. Number 3. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to say the 356, which it's pushing it, but I think it's just such an extremely beautiful, excellently executed build, and it actually it's just dripping with creativity everywhere. Mm-hmm. There's so much he put into it. Even the interior being, all metal, it would show through the glass. The color of even the choice of colors, the window tint with that gray paint job, and it's almost as if he knew that without the little rear vent detail and the race tires, the triangle decal, and the airbrush on the fenders, if you didn't have those details, it would just look like a restored 356. But by adding those little details, it gave it just enough that, at least amongst a bunch of other restored Porsches, this looks like a Hot Wheels, from that standpoint. Because normally with Porsches, you don't get that. None of it. Like that highlight, the brush, it's so pretty. And he didn't give it too much. He did it just the right amount. So, as we talked about before, the only thing that holds this one back is just knowing that shrinking it down to 64th, it's going to be a struggle to translate some of the small details. And then also the way those wheels sit and the tires, to mimic that will be tough. So that's what's holding it back.
Well, anyway, that's just your number 3 pick, man. You got 2 more.
Number 2. Okay, number 2 for me, actually that Austin Healey drag racer. is super interesting because it's a beautiful shape of that Austin Healey body, and I love this marriage of the little European sports car with this massive Detroit V8, and even the choice of the color, and it's got the high contrast deco stripes on it just to add that finishing touch. It's authentic, it's creative, there's a lot of garage spirit. It ticks all the boxes. I think the only thing that holds this back from being a number one for me is that that hard top it's not original from that car. It's an add-on, and unfortunately, it looks it. You know, the way it doesn't blend with the rest of the car very well, and that really bothers me. It's too bad because that's the only thing wrong with it. So yeah, that's my number two, and my number one is that Mini Monster. That thing is it's amazing. Like, you can't really argue with it. That's the most confident car here. It has the most presence, the most confidence of any car here. It's like, and also as memorable as it is, I think it's really appropriate that it's a Mini that's being used to do this, because, you know, the Mini crowd, they're sort of whimsical, they're sort of irreverent in the best way possible. It's super creative use of a body and a different chassis and a different drivetrain, and the choice of texture instead of color. It ticks all the boxes. This is perfect.
Yeah, I think it's a great looking car, and we've seen it pop up quite a bit here this evening. So I always love that kind of, you know, when sometimes you vote for something that's just a little different, that's unique, and Molly was kind of talking about that earlier. She's going for the trucks and going for things as opposed to race cars. So I think that's what's really great in celebrating car customization, because that's what it's about. It's not OE cars, it's car customization, and that's what we're celebrating. All right, finally, last but definitely not least, he's not keeping it fake man, he's keeping it real man. We talk it and throw it over to Philip Reelman.
All right, so I got it for the number 3 spot. I'm picking the 48 Fiat Rod, Rat Rod. Not Rat Rod, but Rod. If we were doing this in 143rd, it would be the number 1 spot, because then I could capture every little detail down there, and, you know, especially if it's a 10-part car or whatever. That would be in the number 1 spot. I love that car. I think it's super creative. Ticks all the boxes, as everybody has said. Garage spirit, creativity, everything, authenticity. It's all there. It's going to be hard to bring that down to our scale. For my number 2 spot, I'm struggling between 1 and 2, but I think I'm going to go with the International Tow Truck for the number 2 spot. This thing, I love everything about it. The two-tone patina, it's got a lot of visual entertainment on it. The stance, the proportion, and the creativity in the build. Very cool vehicle. So that's for the number 2. And then for the number 1 spot, the Mini Clubman. I mean, 38s on a Mini. I don't know how you do that, but it looks awesome. And I think that would look really great in a Hot Wheels package, and it'd be a great Hot Wheels vehicle.
Yeah, I like it, and I think that's great. The other honorable mention is Sonny's dog. Sonny's dog is just chilling, waiting for Dad to go to sleep. If I don't know if you saw it, what's his or hers name back there, Sonny?
That's Stitch. I apologize if you could hear him earlier. He makes a lot of noise. So, yeah.
No.
But yeah,
No.
he's a good time.
No, you said Stitch, like Lilo and Stitch.
That's correct. Yeah.
Has 6 arms as well, and like that whole thing.
Yeah, that's how he sounds. It's little monster.
Yeah. So you're Lilo in this cartoon. I like that. I think that's awesome. It's super close. So our judges are actually still breaking it down right now. But I like what you said, Rusty. Just some great submissions there from last year to this year. Again, that Aussie spirit's absolutely fantastic. And again, thank you so much to Big W. Shout out to our retail partner, Big W. Remember, you can go to bigw.com.au to pick up all your latest Hot Wheels die-cast. So thank you so much to Big W. And again, I just love just this. You see the silhouette of this shape, and you already know what it is. That's just an iconic logo, just by the way. So I got to point that out. But all right, without further ado, are you guys and gal ready Give me thumbs up. That's a real life like right there. We're on Facebook, right? So that's a real life thumbs up. Here it is. The winner of Hot Wheels Legends in our Australia Stop 2 is the 74 Mini Clubman. The Mini Clubman. And there it is. Round of applause. And again, just it's so cool that this vehicle with, no deco, but the stitches, the popping stitches, I'd love to see that being executed on the vehicle, the oversized. And I can't wait to see Stitch ride shotgun with Sonny in this thing. And I think it'll just stand out.
Yeah.
His arm sticking out of this thing. I mean, the proportions are awesome. Overall, I think it's just a really cool, unique vehicle. And the sentiments that we heard from you, the judges, remember, this vehicle will join all the other Legends Tour finalists at the grand finale in November for a chance to have their car immortalized as a Hot Wheels diecast. Just want to thank all our judges. Thank you so much, Sonny Fisher, Mr. Reelman, Philip Reelman. Thank you to Rusty. Thank you so much, Scotty Taylor. And thank you so much, Molly Taylor. I really, really appreciate it. Again, it's late night here. It's 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But you know what? It's been great to see the smiles on your faces. And Scott, calm down. I'm coming over to Australia real soon. We can hang out. And Sonny, I'm gonna get some food sent your way that's non-gluten so you can enjoy it. Rusty, you're going to get some trophies this year, I promise. Molly, can't wait to see you around the globe. And Philip, what are you doing tomorrow? You want to go hang out and go glamping?
Sure.
All right.
I'm actually leaving Sunday, so there we go.
There it is. Perfect. Thank you, guys and gals. Thank you for your time for judging this. Again, that's another stop of our Hot Wheels Legends Tour. Join us for all these stops as the Legends Tour continues here in 2022. Tune in this fall for the global semifinal. And, of course, check out Hot Wheels Official on Instagram for all the updates and all the action that is Hot Wheels Legends Tour 2022. I'm Jared Dienda. We'll see you online, or we'll see you another time. Send it, Hot Wheels Nation.
Awesome.